So what is the correct order of applying makeup? Well, we're going to be doing just that today. I'm going to be showing you exactly what your order should be and why your order is going to be that way and how it benefits you and how you will get the most flawless look ever. So before we head into the video, don't forget I do have an online publication called Confessions of a Creative, covering health, beauty, fashion, style, culture, a bit of everything, all written by me. I know you're going to love it. There are two versions of subscription available. One is free, where you get access to most of the site. The other is paid, which only costs you around a coffee a month, so it's well worth it. You get access to the full site, you get subscriber perks and benefits. You also get a little room where we can chat and I answer questions over there that you ask over here. Now, before we head into this video, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. And I'm over on Instagram, so it'll be great to see you there too. Now let's get straight into it. So let's get started with the correct way of applying makeup. Now this order that I'm going to be showing you is an order that I know is going to work amazing for you because there's a reason behind where every specific product goes. And I will explain this as I go along on each step. So first off, we're going to be applying our skincare, and I'm going to be starting with my Rhode Glazing Milk, which is my kind of like day-to-day glazing milk. And this just gives me hydration, but also is really, really calming for my skin. So I am going to press this in, apply my eye cream, and the reason I apply this now is because it allows the glazing milk to kind of sink into my skin, so it's just something in between that I can do which doesn't disturb that area. And there you go, apply the eye cream. Now the Rhode Peptide Glazing Fluid. This is an extra hydration layer, and this whole skincare line really has helped to even out my skin. Let that sink into the skin. My Rhode Barrier Restore Cream. This is a rich moisturizer which doesn't actually feel too rich on the skin, and you need the smallest amount ever. Now that skincare is done, let's move on with makeup. Now I always have this philosophy of finish one thing and then move on to the next, especially when it comes to makeup, because I feel like I see a lot of kind of makeup tutorials online where people are just like, they've started and then this is not finished and then they carry on to the next bit, and it's kind of like there's no method there and it's all just a bit kind of fluid to the point where you're not setting things properly. So we're really going to go in on why we are setting certain areas first and why we're applying things in a certain order. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually apply my primer. I'm using my Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer, and I'm just going to smooth this over my cheeks, just kind of like lightly. I don't want to rub it in. Next up is my concealer. So I'm going to apply this with my Beauty Blender on my lids first. Now the reason I'm actually applying this, and by the way I'm just going to apply this with my sponge, is because the eyelids are somewhere where like I see people applying concealer or foundation and then they don't end up setting it right until the end or just before they need to actually apply their eye makeup, or sometimes they don't set it at all. I just feel like once you've done these eyelids, they're kind of out of the way and you've set them and you don't need to worry about this small area, and you can just focus on the rest of the face. And you will see there's a method to this whole thing. Like there's a reason for it. So now that we've done that, I'm looking down because I don't want my eyelids to crease. I'm going to get my powder puff, which is my Laura Mercier powder puff, dip it into my powder, which is my Makeup Forever Ultra HD powder, and then I'm going to press on top. And what this is doing is setting everything so that it doesn't go anywhere and it stays put, and that basically is our eyelids kind of prepped and primed, ready for any eye makeup. And I just dust off the excess powder with a brush. There you go. Eyelids are done. You don't even need to go back to them for anything other than the makeup now. So you don't have to worry about the creasing, about, you know, like anything else. Like you can just leave it alone now. Now the next step really depends on what your whole entire look is going to be. So for example, if you are going to be applying eyeshadow, eye makeup, anything that usually you'd have some fallout or anything which is darker than your skin tone, in terms of eyeshadow colors, then I would highly recommend the next step being your eyes, so your eye makeup, and then moving on to your base. And the reason for that is because if anything falls, you don't have to worry about it ruining your foundation or anything. So I'm actually going to be applying an eyeshadow, so let's do the eyes now and then we'll move on to the next step. Now if you are not applying any eyeshadow or anything which is darker than your skin color, you can actually skip this step and go to the next step. I'm actually going to use my One Size Made for Shade Bronze and Trio Sculpt Medium Dark Trio, and I'm using the top or maybe the middle color actually, and I'm gonna use this on my eyes. I don't know how you say this, but I'm using my Rapha brush in 15. So this, I'm gonna use that middle color, just sculpt my kind of like socket there. And I'm using my bronzer because I always find that if I just want a sculpted look, this is the best kind of product to go for because it's already kind of like the perfect bronze shade for my skin, and it almost just adds that shadow as opposed to just adding like a color. It's really hard to find the right type of browns when you have darker skin, so I always suggest kind of going for something like your bronzer or your contour powder. There you go. See how that's really sculpted the eye for us now? I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one. Look at the difference. It's crazy, right? This is actually a really good brush, by the way, guys. You find the link in my description. I'm going to use the same brand brush, but 01 now. I'm using my Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette, and I'm going to use Matte 2. And I'm going to apply this over my lid, underneath where I've actually sculpted. And I'm just using the flat part of the brush. There you go. And that's kind of like sharpened my socket area, but also kind of cleaned up my lid as well, and I really like this look. Okay, I'm going to use a winged liner brush. This is my Zoeva 317, and I'm going to go into matte 11, and I'm actually just going to draw like, just line my lids really, like my lash line. Not worried about how perfect this is at all because I'm going to smudge it. Just go to the end of the lash line. Now I've got that rougher, I don't know how you say it again, number 12 brush, and just going to go back and forth, just smudge it. Do the same on the other side. Look how nice and soft that is. Go back to this brush and back and forth. Let's do a little wing here now, literally super quick, and then I'm gonna do the same here. This is like probably the easiest look ever, but it's honestly such a good look. It's probably one of my favorites. See, I've actually dropped a bit of eyeshadow here. I can like clearly see that would have actually disturbed my foundation and everything. So, you know, you can either wipe it away with a tissue or something, or you can kind of like just smooth it over, because honestly, it's not a lot for me. But I do know that if I had had my foundation and concealer on, I would have seen it a lot more. So it would have really, because everything's so much more flawless, whereas at the moment it's not flawless. There's dark circles and everything. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Now, the only thing that I do kind of like do more towards the end is my mascara and my lashes, because I know that when I do my base, the powder and everything is going to go on my lashes, and I don't want it to kind of cover up any like nice dark lashes that I've created. So I'm now going to move on to my base. Now I'm going to go to my concealer. This is the next step. I am going to apply my concealer here. Anywhere where I want a bit of lift as well. Just want to open up these areas. You don't have to do it in the areas that I've done it, but this is the next step, the concealer. You can get a brush and just smooth over these areas. I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood complexion brush. And then for my under eyes, I'm going to use my sponge. Now it is up to you if you want to contour, so like cream contour. I'm going to do some, and I'm using my concealer, which is my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And again, it's your choice. You don't have to contour if you don't want to. I'm going to, because I'm going for like this full flawless look. So it is completely up to you. You could just skip this step, to be fair. So I'm keeping it all in the same place. I'm just kind of like making sure that it's blended in, as in I can't see any harsh lines. Now we're going to go in with foundation. So now that we've done this contour and kind of like highlight with our concealers, I feel like I said that weird. We're going to go in with the foundation. I'm using my NARS Radiant, no, it's not my, I was going to say Radiant. It's not actually my Radiant. It's my NARS Sheer Glow Foundation in Aruba. And now I'm just going to get my sponge, and I am going to just buff this into my skin everywhere. And you've got to make sure you are kind of using that bouncing action, because otherwise you're just literally just moving around the concealer that you just applied. So I always start from the forehead and then work my way down over the under eyes, over the nose, and then the cheeks. Now what you want to do is make sure there are no creases underneath your eyes. So you want to make sure you just take them out with your sponge. Get your powder puff. And this is where we're going to set. We're going to set the under eyes, and this will ensure that your makeup stays put. You can just pat it all over the face, or you can just dust it. If you pat it, it is going to last longer, and I need my makeup to last all day, so that's why I'm going crazy with the powder. Get a big brush, dust it all off. Get a small brush, dust it from the under eyes. And your base is basically done. Do you see how now you don't have to worry about that eyeshadow dropping? Everything looks flawless. So I'm just going to shape my brows with my Benefit Precisely My Brow pencil. So by doing the brows next, basically we are finishing to kind of like frame the face now. And because we've got the eyes done, we've got the base done, it gives you a better idea of how you want your kind of brows framed to suit the rest of your face too. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my brows. Okay, so now that the brows are done, you can see that that's framed the face. What we're going to do is finish the eyes off now because we're not worried about any other powder kind of going on the lashes or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some of that bronzer I applied to my lower lashes. And obviously the reason I'm doing this now and I didn't do it earlier is because I hadn't, done my base. So now that my base is done on my under eyes and everything, I can kind of finish these off. Okay, so we're going to curl the lashes now, and then we're going to put our mascara on. I'm using my Fenty Hella Thick mascara. I feel like this whole process of applying your makeup in this order honestly does give you the most flawless finish. Like, you get the cleanest finished base. And you can apply some at the bottom if you want. So I'm going to just sculpt my nose a little using my 200 brush from Fenty and my Fenty bronzer in Island Ting. And I'm just going to like go along the sides of the bridge of the nose. It's just going to like thin it down for me a little bit. And then I'm just going to sculpt my cheekbone. So this is where I add my bronzer, and this is going to really help to kind of like warm up my face a little bit and just enhance any of the sculpting that I did underneath, because I'm just kind of like applying it in the same areas. I can honestly promise you, when you apply your makeup in this order, you'll find everything just looks so much better after. Finished with my Charlotte Tilbury lip cheat in Iconic Nude. So the lips are always last because obviously we've done everything else, and this is just like the finishing part of the whole look now. We're going to finish off with a little bit of gloss. This is my Charlotte Tilbury gloss in Seduction. And I'm literally just going to put a little bit on the bottom lip. And that is my finished look. So hopefully you like it, but I really do hope that this has shown you the correct order and why you should be applying it in that order. Just to kind of do a quick recap, we did the eyelids first, and I'm really hoping that you will understand and see why that is so important to just get out of the way. And I feel like if you were to follow this whole routine yourself, then you'll get a better understanding. Because when you get that done and it's out of the way, it just leaves the rest, like the larger surface areas of the face for you to be able to work on, not worried about creasing. And sometimes it's honestly as simple as forgetting sometimes to do things, like forgetting to set your eyes or forgetting to do this or forgetting to do that. At least this way you have a routine, there's a method in place, and you know that you're going to get the best possible results from it once you've finished. Your face will look flawless after. So I really do hope that you like this whole look. I hope that it's something you're going to go away and try. I really hope that you've understood why doing your base kind of last when you're applying eyeshadow makes sense. And honestly, it will give you the best finish ever. I can guarantee that. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'm sending you loads of love wherever you are in the world. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.